So I'm here today with John Howard. John is going to give me a little bit of an insight into the books that he's wrote over the last few years. There's 3 different books. There is one for kind of each stage of development, would you say?
Yes,
so
really.
Kind of beginner.
And also the auction book, which I'm very passionate about, because of so many people ask me, you know, where do I find a property deal? Well, if you can't find a good deal at an auction, then you might as well give up.
Okay. So we've got the first book then, which is here. John Howard's Inside Guide to Property Development and Investment for Newcomers.
Yes, my editor said I've got to put newcomers on it. It is for newcomers in a way, but there's still an awful lot of information about it. If you're already a property investor and developer, there's still lots and lots of information in there for you. You know, it's fact after fact after fact, and it's all about the experiences I've had and how I've got around problems, and to also alarm people at the problems they might come across and to avoid them before it's a problem.
Okay, so it's quite a realistic approach then.
It's a very realistic approach and very matter of fact. Like people say I'm a bit outspoken and I say what I think. Well, you know, I can afford to do so. So that's what I've done in the book. Brilliant.
And also I quite like the fact that it's quite thin, it's quite small. So I'm presuming that you've really compacted everything into it, and you've not, you know, sugar-coated things and really padded it out.
No, so my critics who have read the book say there's no fluff in it. It is what it is. It says what it is on the tin, and it does it. There's no fluff. In fact, I've got so much information to give that I couldn't afford to do fluff as well, if you get my meaning.
Yeah, okay, good. Because I think as well, when you're like quite time poor and you're a busy developer, you know, you've got lots of things going on, you want to read things that are short, sharp, precise. You don't want to spend weeks and weeks and weeks.
Also you can go back to it and say, well, I remember that, I'll just reread that. I mean, I've had people who have said, look, John, I've read it 3 or 4 times because I wanted to really get into it and know exactly, remember all about it.
Yeah.
So,
and you pick out more things each time, don't you? Come across new stuff.
Yeah, and that's sold very well. I mean, I wrote it about 2 years ago because I was so fed up with hearing all about this education people are giving. A lot of it isn't good. Some of it is good, some of it is poor. And I thought, you know what, I've been at it 40 years. If I can't write a book and explain it simply to as many people as possible, then I might as well give up.
Okay,
so that's why I did it.
Good. Yeah. Okay, so you can get this on Amazon. And where else?
johnhowardpropertyexpert.co.uk. You can buy it from there, and of course, you buy it from there, I get a bit more money out of it because Amazon take a lot.
Okay, don't do Amazon. Okay, then book number 2 is Buying and Selling Property at Auction. It's very intimidating from my point of view, looking at an auction, especially because the first time I'm approaching auctions at the moment, it's completely online based now. Yeah. So you don't have the room to go and maybe just sit at the back and
I agree
kind of scope it out for a little while. It's quite full on.
It is,
now.
And my advice is always, before you go to bid at auction, go to an auction, get used to it, get used to the atmosphere and so on. Of course, at the moment you can't do that. But you're coming on my next auction seminar, aren't you?
Yes, I'm going to join that.
After that, you'll be flying.
I'll be a whiz.
You'll be flying. So I wrote the book, one, because I've been buying and selling auction for 35 years. Secondly, because I owned Auction House UK, which was, we franchised it. I bought it with 7 franchises with my partners, Brian Baxter, who's, I believe, a top auctioneer in the country, and my other partners. And I sold my shares 2 years ago when we had 42 franchises. So really successful business. Auction House sell more properties than any other auction houses in the country.
Amazing.
So that's really good. And I felt after I sold my shares, I was able to write a book. Up till then, I thought, well, perhaps I don't, because there's a few tricks of the trade, which perhaps, you know, as an owner, I shouldn't be telling everyone, but I can now. And you know, some golden rules with property. For goodness sake, listen to the golden rules, and they are: always go and view the property. Always find out what the problem is. There's likely to be a problem. Always find out what it is. Go and see the next door neighbour, because the next door neighbour will probably tell you more than the auctioneer will. Make sure you have the money to purchase. Don't put your hand up in an auction and then try and rush around trying to find the money, because you've only got 28 days. And the other thing is read the legal pack. And not only read the legal pack, but get someone else, a solicitor, to read it who understands it.
Okay.
Be very careful at auction.
Okay.
It's not for the faint-hearted, but it's a great way of finding deals. At every auction there's a deal. You just have to work out which one it is and which one's for you. Absolutely right. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure those 5 tips are really expanded on in the book.
Yeah, many, many more.
Yep, and again, available on John's website. And then we got the third and final book, which is Inside Guide to Advanced Property Developing and Investing.
Yes, so after the first book, I was asked.
Oh, it even comes with a bookmark.
It does. So I was asked, look, John, I'm already in property. I've read your first book. Really like the first book. Would you do another book on more advanced developing? Because I want to push on and do more. So exactly what I've done. So once again, it's full of facts of how to do more sophisticated, more difficult deals, how to get the funding. If you want a joint venture partner, which I've done, a lot in my career. I've had backers and partners. I've explained the best way of doing that, the best way of finding funding, the best way of finding bigger deals. And also, the one thing that I think people don't appreciate is setting the deal up correctly in the first place.
Okay.
Because if you set the deal up correctly, you control that deal, then you're going to be successful. If you're chasing your tail and promising the vendor or the person you're buying it off, for instance, that you can complete an exchange very quickly and you can't, then you're setting this up for failure.
Right.
So organising how you purchase the deal and how you sell a deal, sell the flats at the end or the houses at the end, is very, very important to be organised and to get it right. It can stop you an awful lot of stress and trouble if you set it up right in the first place.
Yeah. And does this cover residential and commercial?
It does, yeah. I do a lot of commercial. Now, people say to me, well, John, you don't do commercial. Well, I do a lot of commercial. I just don't shout about
shops
it
at
as
the
much
bottom
as
of this.
exactly where we are now, the wine rack.
We're in the wine rack at the moment.
Yeah.
It's 150 flats in Ipswich, absolutely stunning development, and there's 2 levels of commercial
There is
units
2
at the bottom,
commercial,
right?
and we've actually let it, so that's great. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, pleasure.
And again, if anybody would like to purchase either of the 3 books, head over to johnhowardpropertyexpert.co.uk.